Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. So, I was asked this question recently, and it really got me to thinking. So, what I wanted to do tonight was I wanted to take some time and really be real in answering this question. So, anybody who had any sort of misconceptions or they didn't really know what they were getting into about modeling, I'm going to clear that up tonight. So, stay tuned. And as always, guys, if you're finding value in this content, please don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment in the comment section, ding that notification bell, because each week I'm going to be hitting you off with some new content on different ways to go about the modeling industry. So without further ado, let's get to it. So the first question that you'll need to answer is why? Why do you want to model? We all get into it for different reasons. But the thing is, if you remember why you're starting modeling, then chances are that you're going to remember why you're doing it and hold yourself accountable. See, in modeling, there's a lot of things that you have to do. It's not all sunshines and roses. It's a lot of sacrifice. It's a lot of discipline with your dieting, working out. You have to be a go-getter in this industry. So if you are mentally prepared and you remember why you got into it in the first place, that means that you're going to be able to hold yourself accountable for when things aren't going so smoothly, when there's pitfalls, when maybe you're not booking as much as you want to book. But then also be mentally prepared for the highs. You know, obviously, if you remember why you did it, that's going to make you more motivated for why you're doing it. So always remember why you got into modeling in the first place. All right, now this is another tidbit. There's this misconception that everybody that gets into modeling, they're able to do it full time, and that's just simply not true. I would say about 95% of models that get into modeling, they have some sort of side hustle, side gig, or things like that. But the thing is, whatever that side hustle or side gig is kind of centered around modeling. So what do I mean by that? So there's a lot of models that go into personal training and fitness. There's models that go into yoga instructing. There's models who I don't know. They teach skating classes. They go into acting classes. They take things that's going to make them more better models. You know, better actors. Just better performers overall. So modeling full time, again, I'd say a good 5 to 10% of models are able to do that and able to sustain. But the reality of it is, a lot of models aren't. So you definitely want to keep that in mind when you're getting in. All right, now the next thing I want to be real about, it's a huge investment up front. It's going to be financial a lot of times. If you're traveling to and from castings and they happen to be not in the same city, there's going to be emotional toll. I mean, taking the no's and then learning to not take them personally. And then it's going to be a huge investment of your time. You got to be available to actually go on photo shoots and be able to perform when you're booked for a job. And going back to the financial upfront costs, specifically for us male models, typically photographers don't like to test us for free. We're not as highly sought after in the typical photographer's portfolio. So lots of times, you know, maybe female models would get discounted rates or free test shoots, whereas we would have to come out of pocket. So for the guys out there just want to get into the game, that's something to be aware of, and I want you to plan ahead. Now, this next thing, going back to that time commitment, if you're not local to a certain market where you're being booked for work or being heavily considered being booked for work, then expect to travel 4 hours, maximum. Like me personally, I would drive, 4 to 5 hours in a market if, for a specific job, if it worked well for me. But that's just something that you have to be willing to do. Again, remember your why. If this is something that's important to you, then that's a sacrifice that you don't think twice about. But again, if this is something that you kind of just want to do part-time, or your reasons for why you're doing it aren't as strong as maybe other people's reasons for why they're doing it, then maybe you don't accept the job and driving 4 or 5 hours away, one way, mind you. Now, this is a misconception more so than a real tidbit. So, contrary to what a lot of people believe, runway shows, high editorial shoots, and things like that, they rarely pay any money, if anything at all. It's more so for exposure. So, if you're a person that's wanting to get into high fashion modeling, yes, GQ looks great in your book, or Elle magazine, or a lot of these really high fashion editorials, but they don't pay anything at all. And to be quite honest, the most bang for your buck that you can get in modeling is going to be on the commercial print side of modeling, just because their models can models that get into the commercial side of it, they can model into their 60s and 70s if they still have a certain aesthetic. And there's certain brands out there that are still wanting to market to a certain demographic. This next thing, being real, man, you really have to be on your grind. You have to be able to enterprise in the modeling industry. And what do I mean by that? So that's basically don't leave any sort of photo shoot, test shoot, any sort of fashion event without networking and making contacts. See, the more contacts you have, the better. Okay, so if you're a likable person, you present well, you photograph well, and things like that, people like you. What do you think is going to happen? They're going to want to work with you, right? And then if you get on the set and shoot, you knock it out the park, and you're a pleasure to work with, then they're going to want to use you more and more and more. See, things in the modeling industry, this is something that I had to learn a long time ago. Things don't just happen while you just kind of sit on the sideline and wait for things to happen. If you really are serious about the craft, if you remember your why, and you have a very deep reasoning for why you want to get into the industry and stay in it for a while, then you're going to put yourself out there. Again, you're going to start creating content. Much like how I'm doing, you're going to document everything, and not in a show-offy way, but you want to brand yourself. You want to put yourself out there to those creative directors, those makeup artists, people who have hands in the industry, who can have a say in whether you're working on the next project that they're going to be in or not. Now, here's a saying that I picked up from a good buddy of mine, a photographer up in New York. The best ability is availability. So what does that mean? Being flexible. So basically, you don't want to be one of those models who is just signed to an agency and you just rest on your laurels there and it's just cool. A lot of people get into modeling because they want money. The exposure and all that, that's cool too. But most people want to make money. They want to make money and have fun doing it. So if you're not available to actually go out and work and things like that, then you're just going to sit on the agency's board and collect dust. So sometimes what'll happen is you'll get last minute bookings, so you're going about your day, maybe you're at work, or maybe if you're a college student, you have classes, and sometimes you'll get a call from your booker, or you'll get a last minute email saying, oh, okay, well, I need submissions for this client by this time. They're really interested in working with you, and then you find out that that it shoots tomorrow, or it shoots 2 days from now, and you didn't plan on being available for that time. So ultimately what you have to do is make the best decision for you. You're not going to be able to make every single casting that they have out last minute to you, but if you're a person, you're working a 9 to 5, and it's really important to you, then you weigh the pros and the cons versus taking the job or not taking the job. It's again, you are your own independent contractor as a model, but again, taking some jobs would help you. So maybe you sacrifice, you call out sick a day, or maybe you miss a day of classes. I know I missed plenty. But if it's not worth it to you, then you simply just decline the job. But also just keep in mind, let your bookers know. Don't be one of those models who just simply don't respond to calls or emails, or you accept the job and then you end up not showing up without letting your bookers know. Don't leave them hanging like that. All right, guys. So those were my personal insights on the truth about modeling. Let me know what you think in the comment section. If this is something that you weighed out in your mind, if you didn't know any of these truths that I spit to you this evening, if this is something that you would consider doing, if you know somebody that kind of went through some of these pitfalls that I talked about, any complaints, any stories, let me know what you think in the comment section. But until next time, guys, I'll see you in the next video.